Today's story took place in one of the most picturesque corners of Costa Rica, in the province of Punta Arenas, near the resort area of Manuel Antonio. This region is known for its beaches, tropical landscapes, and an atmosphere of peaceful escape. People come here to recover and recharge. But in July 2020, one room in a local boutique hotel became the scene of a brutal crime. On July 18, 2020, 43-year-old María Luisa Cedeño arrived at La Mansión Inn. She was accompanied by her small dog, Mafalda, a loyal companion she considered part of her family. María Luisa was a respected anesthesiologist and the head of a department at a private clinic. She was highly regarded by her colleagues. The first months of the COVID-19 pandemic had been especially difficult for her. Overwhelming workload, emotional exhaustion, and a recent breakup. According to friends, this trip was meant to help her reset. Her first day passed quietly. A walk along the beach, dinner, and a glass of wine. The following day, around 4:30 p.m., she ordered a bottle of wine, mineral water, and 2 glasses to her room. Investigators later learned that she often requested 2 glasses even when alone, pouring wine into one and water into the other. After that, María Luisa stopped responding to messages. On July 20th, hotel staff grew concerned. The guest was not answering calls or knocks on the door. The room was locked from the inside. The staff then decided to check access through the inner courtyard. The room had a sliding glass door designed for guests traveling with pets. The door was slightly open. When employees entered, they met with a heavy odor. There were traces of blood in the room, on the floor, walls, and curtains. In the corner, Mafalda was trembling, frightened but alive. On the bed lay María Luisa's body, carefully wrapped in a bedsheet. The investigation quickly determined that this was a murder marked by extreme violence. The autopsy revealed multiple injuries, signs of assault, bite marks, and evidence of suffocation. Her fingernails were broken, clear signs that she fought back. According to experts, the attack occurred on the bed. After the killing, the body was moved to the bathroom, washed, then returned to the bed and covered with a sheet. Despite attempts to clean the scene, there was too much blood to hide everything. The official cause of death was severe traumatic brain injury. A troubling question was the absence of screams. Although the hotel was nearly empty due to the pandemic, staff and the owner were present on the property. No one heard sounds of a struggle or even the dog barking. This led investigators to consider that there may have been more than one attacker restraining the victim. Electronic key data showed that after María Luisa returned to her room that evening, no one entered through the main door. This suggested the perpetrator accessed the room from the sliding door from the courtyard. However, that door could only be opened from the inside. Either María Luisa let him in herself, or she had left it unlocked. Inside the room, investigators found the bottle of wine and 2 glasses. On her phone, there was a voice message to a friend in which she praised the service, said she had danced with the bartender, and mentioned friendly interactions with the staff. There was no sign of fear in her voice. The hotel owner, a Dutch national named Harry Bodden, lived on the property with his spouse. Because of the pandemic, he had also allowed 2 acquaintances to stay there in exchange for help with maintenance. These men were Luis Carlos Miranda and Teodoro Herrera Martinez. The first major suspect was Herrera. He had fresh scratches and wounds on his body resembling defensive injuries. More importantly, his blood was found under the victim's fingernails. Blood traces were also discovered on his shoes and personal belongings. When police examined the suspect's phones, they discovered explicit and disturbing sexual messages exchanged between the 2 men and the hotel owner. These messages had been sent just days before the murder. In August 2020, the hotel owner himself was arrested. 2 bite marks on Maria Luisa's body also partially matched his dental records. The trial began in September 2022. However, the evidence against Harry Baden and Luis Carlos Miranda was deemed insufficient. Experts testified that bite mark analysis cannot conclusively identify a perpetrator. It is better suited to excluding suspects rather than proving guilt. In the end, the only person against whom direct physical evidence existed was Teodoro Herrera. His blood under the victim's nails, his injuries, and traces at the crime scene became decisive. The court found him guilty and sentenced him to 50 years in prison. Harry Baden and Luis Carlos Miranda were acquitted due to lack of evidence. Despite the verdict, Maria Luisa's family continues to have doubts. On the night of the murder, the hotel experienced a power outage for several hours. Surveillance cameras were not operating. Magnetic key systems may not have recorded entries. Additionally, the hotel owner's office was searched only 9 days after the crime, ample time for potential evidence to disappear. The family also reported that Maria Luisa's personal belongings were returned to them still stained with blood, causing outrage. Legally, the case is closed, but for her loved ones, there remains a sense that the full truth has not been revealed. Beyond the shocking details of the investigation, it is important to remember who Maria Luisa was. She was not just the victim of a high-profile crime. She was a daughter, a friend, and a doctor who saved lives. A woman who went to the ocean to breathe after an exhausting period and never returned home. Sometimes, even the most beautiful places hide dark stories. And this case serves as a reminder that evil can exist where we least expect it.